What's up, Bears fans? We're back and we're live for a second. Coming up on Chicago Bears Now, I've got more reaction and thoughts to the Cole Kmet 4-year contract extension with the Chicago Bears. I feel good about this. I think Bears fans should as well. I'll explain why coming up here in just a little bit here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for watching today's show. We're going to get into some Bears training camp day one takeaways, some things that stood out at practice today. But first, I have a favor to ask. Real ones, help me out here. Can you share the video on social media? Get the word out there about Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. We're hoping for a big season here. So share this video. All you got to do is click that share button, select the Twitter icon, click post to Twitter. But before you fire off the tweet, tag me at HGrahamNFL for a retweet. If you do tag me, I'll retweet it. Appreciate all the love and support. Share this video all over Twitter. Okay, let's get to some Bears training camp discussion here. They wrapped up their first camp practice today. Had to go inside. There was poor air quality in Chicago today, and it was pouring this morning, so they opted to go inside. And Matt Eberflus admitted that today was more of an OTA-style practice. They're going to have a ramp-up period here, ease the guys in. We found out on Tuesday that the Bears would not throw on the pads until next Wednesday. So they're going to work their way into this and not try to get someone injured early on, which I obviously think is a good approach. But there were still plenty of takeaways from day one, and we heard from some players as well. Let's talk about the quarterback first. Justin Fields is sharp. Sharp day for him, really good. And you really like to see that because the last day of mandatory minicamp was probably his best practice of the spring. That has now carried over here, which I think is a really, really good sign. The play of the day was a Justin Fields deep ball to DJ Moore up the right sideline. Tyrique Stevenson, who was in pretty good coverage, it was just a really good ball, and Moore was able to haul it in. I mean, this chemistry is real. Like, we heard about it throughout the spring and the early part of the summer, and now later part of the summer training camp. First day to connect on a deep ball touchdown, that's a really good sign. Matt Eberflus also pointed out a couple of other big plays where he hit Equinemius St. Brown as well. So that is very, very good. Kevin Fishbane had this note from Flus where Flus said, I thought the operation on offense was good for the first day. Said you usually see false starts, other hiccups on day one, but that wasn't the case today. And what did I say in our Bears training camp preview that went out this morning? I want Justin Fields to take command. That's what command looks like. And look, it would be reasonable to expect. The guys have been off 6 weeks. You haven't had an organized practice in almost 2 months. A couple false starts here, guys lining up in the wrong position. That was not the case. Eberflus went out of his way to say the operation was good, players were ready to go, no false starts. And I think a lot of that can be attributed to the quarterback, Justin Fields. It's his job to get everybody lined up and call out the play and do all of that stuff. That's what command looks like to me. It's not just the execution of the play itself. It's getting everybody ready for the play. Pre-snap, during the snap, post-snap, all of that stuff is important, and that's what you expect out of your franchise quarterback. Give Justin Fields the good vibes. Type JF1 down in the comments below for QB1. Show him some love. Get the JF1s going. More Camp 1 takeaways. Let's talk about Chase Claypool. The optimism. It really does sound optimistic around Claypool from teammates and himself. Is there some overhyping going on? Maybe. Matt Eberflus spoke highly of Claypool on multiple occasions during his press conference today, and even one time unprompted mentioned Claypool is someone that has stood out to him. So I really like to hear that from the head coach. Look, I think the Bears, to an extent, are just hoping, right? Like, they want this to work out. Like, they invested in him. Right. I like what Cole Kmet said about him, too. Said he's been a great teammate, has worked hard this summer, but also said this, holding him accountable a little bit, said he needs to be a big contributor to this offense. Like, he's saying, hey, man, we went and traded for that guy. Like, he needs to come in and contribute. So I think it's one of those things, like, he's doing all the right things, but they also are challenging him like, hey, it's go time now. Like, we'll give you a bit of a pass for last year, learning things on the fly. Darnell Mooney talked about him as well. But now Claypool has got to hold up his end of the bargain here. And I think he knows that. Don't believe me? Take his word for it. Chase Claypool today. This is the biggest year of my life. And I understand that if anyone thinks my work ethic, or he says, and I understand that. Then he says, if anyone thinks my work ethic isn't matching that, they're mistaken. So what he's saying is yeah, I'm busting my ass, but it's because I know what's at stake. Like, Chase Claypool knows what's on the line. What's on the line? Well, a contract, right? He's in the final year of his rookie deal. What's also on the line? The Bears being the team that gives him that contract, proving Ryan Poles right, who traded for him at the deadline last year. He knows what the narrative is. He knows that some fans have already given up on him. He said that he's not really on Twitter, but family members keep him in the loop of what's being said and what's out there. All he can do is put his head down and go to work. It seems like he's done that, but now it's about that work turning into results. Talk eventually just is cheap, right? And it's about production. So hopefully Chase Claypool is able to produce. Darnell Mooney, we want him to produce as well, right? Well, he's ramping up, if you will. Obviously, the team as a whole is doing a little bit of that as well. No pads until next Wednesday. But Darnell Mooney today just did some individual drills, did a couple of 7-on-7s, but no 11s yet for Mooney. He kind of talked after practice today as well, said, look, I feel ready, but I'm going to do whatever the team feels like is best for me. Talking about, kind of slowly easing him in here. And I think he knows what's at stake too, right? Like, he's also in a contract year. And you do wonder between Mooney and Claypool if in the back of their mind they're kind of having that thought of, it's either me or him. I don't think it's for sure that way. Like, if both have good years, I think they could both be back, but they got to be at least thinking or wondering a little bit like, hey, I need to outperform the other dude. Now, I think they're going to challenge each other. I think they're going to be good teammates and all of that. I don't think it's going to cause any problems. But when you bring in DJ Moore and you draft Tyler Scott, there's a real chance that one of Darnell Mooney or Chase Claypool, maybe even both, if both have bad years, could be gone after this year. So they know that it's a big season for each of them. Mooney coming off the offseason surgery. Claypool, who's been a little nicked up, but coming off a disappointing season. Big years in 2023 for these two wide receivers. Now, who's going to have the bigger year for the Chicago Bears? If you think it's Darnell Mooney, type DM. If you think it's going to be Chase Claypool, type CC. I hope both have great years. That's good for the Bears. That's good for them. That makes it a tougher decision for Ryan Poles, which is a good thing as well. Let me know, DM for Mooney or CC for Chase Claypool. Okay, more thoughts on the Cole Kmet extension. I did a full video breakdown, instant reaction to this earlier today on the channel. Subscribe, check out the content tab for that, but do want to expand a little bit on this as well. If you did miss it, 4-year extension for Cole Kmet for $50 million, 32.5 guaranteed, an average of $12.5 million per year. And I think it's a pretty damn good deal for the Chicago Bears. I think Ryan Poles did very well this year. I'm not going to sit here and say $50 million is bad for Cole Kmet. I think it's a healthy contract for him. But when you factor in a lot of things here, this is pretty good. I mean, the Bears have a lot of cap space moving forward, and you could have understood if they were willing to give up a few more $1 million per year for him because of that flexibility. But you don't hand out bad contracts just because you have the money. And I think that's a clear way that Kmet has operated. I think it's a good thing for the Bears because Kmet has improved every year, and he's still ascending. 7 touchdowns last year, improved as a blocker. Kmet talked today about being that well-rounded tight end and that he still needs to continue to complete his game. You also factor in that the Chicago Bears got Cole Kmet on a 4-year extension, and he's tied for 9th, 10th, and 11th for the highest-paid tight end. You got the top 8 there, Hunter Henry, Cole Kmet, and not pictured on your screen, Jonnu Smith, all making $12.5 million per year. You can make a strong argument that Kmet's better than a few of the guys that are getting paid more than him, like Evan Ingram, who just got paid last week. Their side-by-side numbers the last 2 years are very similar. Kmet's also a better blocker. David Njoku, similar tier, but I think Kmet's contract's more friendly, to be honest. Dawson Knox, I think Kmet's a little bit more of a complete tight end than him. I think the guys on the left are in their own category, but Kmet's not in that category based on what he got paid. I think Ryan Poles did really well here. I think Kmet did well as well, getting $32.5 million in guaranteed money, but tied for 9th highest paid tight end, still an ascending player, only 24 years old. I think they did pretty well, man. I think you got to give Ryan Poles a nice little round of applause here. Even if he's the exact same player he's been the last couple of years, like average out those numbers, it's still a good deal. If he takes another step, it's a damn good deal for Cole Kmet and for the Chicago Bears. Do you like the Cole Kmet deal? If you do, type L for like. If you dislike it, type D for dislike it. I love it, so I'm going to type my L for like. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. Day 1 of training camp in the books. They'll continue to ramp it up. Hopefully tomorrow's practice is able to be outside with fans and all of that stuff. Hopefully the weather holds up. That would be very, very nice. Subscribe to the channel for more content. All right, let's catch up on some super chats here. Shout out to Paleo, who says, will you do Bears Now and Colin again for the season? Our partnership with Colin ended. We could still do shows on there, but from a partnership standpoint, that is over. That's not in the plans. Wouldn't rule it out completely. I don't want to overpromise anything, but I do think there's at least a chance we'll do video call-in post-game shows. A chance. Not saying for sure. It's something we've explored as a company. Maybe we'll flirt with it during one of the preseason games, see how it all works together. But look, we'll do the watch parties aren't going anywhere. We're still going to be taking your questions. I definitely want to interact with you guys on a more personal level. So I'll say this: stay tuned for what's to come. And cheers, Paleo. Here's a shot for you. Let's go to Robert.
Robert says, hey, Harrison, good to be back.
Cheers.
Bear down, FGB.
Get the FGBs going for Robert in the chat. We're seeing some of the seasoned guys come back. Rolly, you love to see that. You love to see that little summer hiatus, but football's in the air. You love to see it. Wasim. Bear down. Wasim. He says, FGB, can't wait for the preseason to start. Realistic expectations for the rookie class. You want to take this shot first off?
Yeah.
Realistic expectations. For the class as a whole, I think you'll get at least contributions from 5 or 6 guys out of the 10 you drafted, maybe even 7 or 8. I think you'll get major contributions from Darnell Wright, who's going to start at right tackle, Tyrique Stevenson, who's going to be a starting corner. I think you'll get solid contributions for Javon Dexter, and I'm hoping Zach Pickens is at least a rotation guy. Like, I think those 4 or 5 guys need to contribute on some level. And then Roschon and Tyler Scott, like, at minimum, they need to be good special teamers, and at maximum, they need to give you some plays on offense. So I have high expectations. They are rookies. We have to see how this thing all comes together. I thought the Bears had a good draft, though. Cade Hogan with the 5. Little sip for you, Cade. Cheers. Do you think we extend Jalen Johnson soon? Looking forward to the football season. And go Cyclones. Rolly, an Iowa State fan. Rolly was not a fan of Iowa State basketball this past year.
I'm just going to be honest with you, Cade. Last season, I despised Iowa State basketball. I'll just tell you why. It's because you guys got a couple transfers in by the name of Oshuni, and Jaron Holmes that both went to St. Bonaventure prior to transferring to the Cyclones, Iowa State. And I am a St. Bonaventure alum.
So shambles.
So didn't really and listen, St. Bonaventure is a small school, so you get to know people on a personal level. So just leave it at that.
I feel that. Cade, as far as Jalen Johnson goes,
skip the question.
Don't want to completely cuck Cade here. I think it's possible. I would like to extend Jalen Johnson. I'll be curious to see if they let this year go and see if they wait for the offseason, though. I think Kmet was like a lock to get done. I think Johnson's 50-50, and then I'd say Darnell's like 30 to 40% chance of happening. Dave is a beastly. If the Bears sign Houston and Yannick, what's the record going to be? I mean, look, it's all projection still, right? But I think if you go from the worst pass rush in the league to league average, even like 20th, 22nd, and your offense improves and your secondary's coming together nicely and DJ Moore's making plays and Fields, all this stuff happens, like, I think they could be a playoff team. I think there's a chance in this bad conference and questionable division.
They get Houston and Yannick. I'm saying 9 or 8 or 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, reports that they're interested in both. There's a report that Yannick is interested in the Bears. That's interesting to me.
That is something.
That is interesting to me. William, you get a sticker. You want to read this for me, Rolly?
William says, I know it's early to tell, but who is your favorite 2024 draft prospect that would fit great with the Bears? For me, I love JT
Tuamolo, Ohio State pass rusher.
Guy is a monster. You know,
He is good.
I haven't really thought about 2024 outside of the quarterbacks.
Still like Marvin Harrison Jr.
Listen, I'll tell you about the quarterbacks. I'll tell you about Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm spacing on the dude's name, but I just know he's an absolute stud. The Penn State offensive line.
Oh, like Olu Fashanu or whatever his name is? Yeah, he's good. Look, I know you just paid Kmet. Could you imagine pairing Brock Bowers with him, though? That would be insane. I don't think that's very likely since you just paid Kmet, but there's some good pass rushers. Dallas Turner out of Bama is pretty good. It's early. Haven't done a ton of draft prep yet, I'll be honest. But Rolly's going to watch Drake May in person, though. Week 1, Rolly and some of the crew.
Yeah, I am so excited. Week 1, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Charlotte.
College game day going to be there.
So pumped to go watch that game. Most of you guys might know that I am a North Carolina football fan. I am a Trubisky truther, and if you missed it on yesterday's show, that I went on a little rant about Roger Goodell blackballing Trubisky from being a starting quarterback in this league. And listen, he better not do the same thing to Drake May. That's all I'm going to say.
Drake May is a better prospect now than Trubisky ever was.
That might be true.
He better arm talent, sees the field better.
I just remember Trubisky being a top 5 projected pick, and even I didn't understand it at the time. In reality,
Pace falling in love with him is just one of the weirdest things.
Well, he was Mel Kiper. I'm pretty sure loved him too.
A lot of guys liked him. Yeah, it was like Blaine Gabbert to me, from back in the day. Why did remember McShay was Blaine Gabbert's going to change the league? It's
I love
what?
Blaine Gabbert. You know who I loved in that same kind of timetable? I fucking loved Jake Locker.
Jake Locker, I think, actually had big potential. I just don't think he cared enough about football.
Dude, I thought he was going to be a stud.
Yeah.
That QB, that draft class of Locker, Gabbert, and Cam Newton.
One QB I never was in on, and I was in the minority, and I'm proud to say that I got this right, was Josh Rosen. I was never on the Rosen train.
I was on the Rosen.
Everyone was. I watched him at UCLA a lot. I was like, sure, he throws a pretty ball, but he's like a 6-6 college quarterback all the time.
I was convinced that he was going to be that.
I didn't think his arm was that strong either.
And turned out it was Josh Allen.
Yeah. So. I did not think Allen would be this good, so on the other end of that spectrum. Yeah. Okay, we're about a third of the way there. If you guys want to make this a true battle, got to tighten things up. We get to slap Marsh if we get more than $350. And we're going to take this down. A beer bat if we top 350. Here's our super chat menu. $5 for beers, cheers, and you taking a sip. $10, shot of Fireball, or Rolly will take a shot of Patron. $20, you get a sticker on the Justin Fields boot, which we're going to auction off during the preseason. We're close to filling this bad boy up. $20. $50 is a beer bong. I'll take down a beer bong. And then $350 total if we top Giants now. We're taking down this beer bat. Pour a couple beers in. I got to chug it. So, and we get to slap Marshall, who challenged us to the super chat battle. So if we want to make all of that happen, $350 is the level. Ram Pandy, how's your son doing? Appreciate you asking me, Ram. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. PJ's great. He's about 3.5 months now. We just went on a nice little weekend trip to Austin. He's getting heavier by the day, I'll tell you that. But he's doing great. Appreciate you asking. Steve, 312 is next up here. He says, who would lead the team in touchdowns this year, catching and rushing? I kind of like Rolly's take. Let's go Kmet receiving, and I'm going to go Fields for touchdowns. He's just such a weapon in the red zone. Rushing touchdowns.
Oh, rushing touchdowns.
I could see him, even if his rushing yards are down, he had 8 rushing touchdowns last year. I could see him having 8 to 10 again.
If he even gets 7 rushing touchdowns, that could very well lead the team in rushing touchdowns.
7. Herbert has 5. Foreman has a few on the goal line.
Even if it's spread around, Fields 7 rushing touchdowns, Herbert 5,
Foreman 3 or
4,
Roschon a couple,
2 or 3.
Bayless Jones on a jet sweep.
If you score 20 rushing touchdowns, that's
a ton.
That's a pretty good rushing attack right there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, Fields rushing, Kmet receiving. Sammy, if we sign an edge or two, who gets cut from the 90-man roster? Who cares? I hate to be blunt. Someone that was never going to make the team. That's the best way I could answer that. position that you're deep at with extra bodies, something like that. Got to bring it back. Got to bring it back. Clean it out. Bring it back. Okay, Burke, 4,500 total yards for Fields this season. Is that reasonable? I think 4,000 is a reasonable expectation. He reached 34-ish hundred last year combined. The passing's got to take a jump. I think 4,000 should be like the expectation. If you got 4,500, you should be pretty pumped. Like if he throws for 35 to 3,700 and rushes for 8 to 1,000, like that's pretty close to what Jalen Hurts did last year, and he was an MVP candidate.
Could I be setting my expectations too high here, Harry? But I think 4,000 should kind of be like the baseline.
Yeah,
almost.
if he doesn't get 4,000, that means he either got hurt or there's serious, like there's real question marks going into year 4. Like
to me, like I think he's like locked in to get at least 650, 700 rushing yards, right?
Yeah.
So for him to get 4,000 total, to me 3,300 passing, I think that should absolutely be the case.
Less than 200 a game. I mean, like if he throws for 200 a game and rushes for 50 a game, which I think could it?
Yeah.
I don't think that should be like the for sure expectation, but that's a reasonable possibility. That's 3,400 passing and 850 rushing. That's 4,250.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Jalen Hurts, I think, threw for 3,700 and rushed for 700 or 800. So he was right at that 4,500 mark. And I've always said this, and this does not mean it's going to happen. This is not a shot at Jalen Hurts. He has earned everything he has gotten. Justin Fields has more talent than Jalen Hurts, though, in terms of raw ability. He has a stronger arm. He was a better pocket guy compared to Hurts coming out of college. He's faster than Hurts is a runner. Like, he's got more physical ability than Jalen Hurts. Now, Hurts is proven to be a better pro up to this point. He's also had an extra year. So let's see. I think 4,500 total could very well happen. Patrick, 1963, I believe we will have a Rookie of the Year candidate on offense and defense. That would surprise me.
I wanted to throw this up there because I was curious to see your reaction to it.
I mean, could Tyrique Stevenson have like 6 picks and maybe on defense he's got a slight chance, but offense? Well, is Tyler Scott going to have 1,200 yards?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like your 2 options on offense are
Him and
basically
Roschon.
only Tyler Scott and Roshan Johnson.
Yeah,
and I am just not buying that possibility.
If you're banking on them to be Rookie of the Year type of players, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Like
defense, I give it a solid chance because like maybe Tyrique Stevenson balls out. Like I'm a big fan of Stevenson's game. Maybe one of Zach Pickens or Javon Dexter just absolutely flashes a D tackle. But it's unlikely. If I had to take the Bears having a offensive Rookie of the Year candidate, defensive Rookie of the Year candidate, or no one, take the latter.
Yeah, I mean, and look, like the way they drafted, there's really no one that should be.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a rookie quarterback. Their rookie running back, while he might have a decent role at some point this season, he's not going to be like a 3-down, 20 carry per game guy, at least not this year. And Tyler Scott, I think he could surprise and like end up being pretty good, but like he's still behind DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, and that's at best. He's definitely at this point behind Claypool too. So it's not a realistic scenario. Levi, first-time super chatter, says, I know it's a low bar, but if Mooney gets an extension, he'll become the Bears' all-time leading receiver, yay or nay? It's possible, yeah. I mean, Allen Robinson is close to a lot of the Bears' receiving records, and he was only in Chicago for, 3 or 4 years?
I didn't know that. I know the passing game in Chicago has not always been great, but that is...
Well, a lot of their good receivers they've had aren't here that long. Like Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey were only here for a few years. And when they were good, like pre-2000, they were always one of the best running teams, defensive teams. The bat is back. If we get to 350, we're making it happen. By the way, what's going on Steelers?
Apparently chaos.
It's chaos in there. Our Steelers host was talking shit to us about Chase Claypool, so
Scumbag.
We could get a number for them if y'all want to take them down. All right, you want to do our next segment and then see where we're at in the super chats if y'all want to take them down? We got a long way to go to catch Marshall. I'm not going to lie. they're at they've got 350. We're at 116. So long way to go if y'all want to make that happen. But it is what it is. Screw those dirty towels. Listen, if you guys want to take them down. What is happening in there? I wish you guys could hear this. You might be able to.
They might be able to hear it through my mic. I'm not even kidding.
They are yelling in there. All right, one more segment here on Bears Now, then we'll chop it up a little more with some Super Chats. You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham, and on today's show, Chicago Bears cut candidates from ESPN's 53-man roster projection that was dropped right at the start of training camp. Want to react and kind of give my thoughts on whether I agree or disagree in certain areas for certain position groups. But first, want to shout out everyone who reached out on Instagram and DM me Bear Down. These were the first 10 that did so. I think we got over 100 total, so shout out to everybody that did DM me Bear Down. I think I replied to everyone via IG. But Nick Ritchie, Ty, David Torres Jr., Shepard69, Rogelio Garcia, Joel Garvey. We got Zane, Riley Sullivan, Andrew Bailey, Doug Jansen. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm posting on IG like every single day, so give me a follow at HGramNFL. Let's get to ESPN's roster projection. They have just 2 quarterbacks making the 53-man roster. Of course, Justin Fields and then P.J. Walker. No surprises here. Fields is the starter. Walker's the backup. The cuts here are Nathan Peterman and Tyson Bagent. Is there a small chance Peterman or Bagent could make the 53? I guess, but I don't expect that to be the case. I expect Chicago to carry 2 quarterbacks in Fields and Walker. Now, if an injury occurs, maybe something changes, but I think those 2 make the 53 for now, and one or maybe even both of those other quarterbacks are sitting on the practice squad. Let's go to the backfield now, including fullback. 5 in total from Courtney Cronin, who did this projection. Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman, Roschon Johnson, Travis Homer, and Kari Blasingame. So you kind of go by position here, or by player here, and of course the cut here was Treston Ebner, but Khalil Herbert, he's going to make this team. Roschon's a lock. You just drafted him. I think Deontay Foreman's safe, so there's 3 right there, but Deontay Foreman doesn't do a ton on special teams, so they may carry Travis Homer or Treston Ebner as well to get some special teams ability there. I'm just not sure if the Bears will carry 3 or 4 running backs because they're going to carry a fullback. So if you carry 4 plus a fullback, that's 5 of your 53 out of your backfield. That's not an insignificant number. Like, are 4 running backs going to get consistent carries? That seems like a lot. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I think a lot of this will play out in training camp. But what say you? How many running backs will the Bears carry on the 53-man roster? I think it'll be 3, type 3. I think it'll be 4, type 4. I think it will be 4 plus the fullback for now, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if only 3 made it and both Homer and Ebner got cut. Wide receiver now, 6 make it overall. Of course, DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney. No surprises there. Equanimous St. Brown, according to Cronin's projection, makes it. Velus Jones Jr. and Tyler Scott. I think Scott, in terms of locks to make the team, I'd put him at 4th. You just drafted him in the 4th round. The notable cut here, obviously, is Dante Pettis, who, as we're filming this, started training camp on the NFI list. So that, of course, puts him a little bit behind the 8 ball compared to some other players. But I think between Pettis, St. Brown, and Velus Jones, one of those players will be gone. We've talked about this a lot. St. Brown, interestingly enough, probably has the coach's trust the most on offense, but he also has the least special teams value out of these 3 players, and that's what it could come down to. So keep an eye on that throughout training camp. I think St. Brown still needs to perform to make this football team. Subscribe to the channel if you want Chicago Bears news, rumors, and much more coverage throughout training camp. The link is right there below, youtube.com/BearsNow. We'll do our own Bears roster projection at some point as well, reacting to ESPN's today, but more coverage to come throughout camp. Just 3 tight ends, Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, Jake Tonjes, who was like a fullback tight end hybrid last year, was on and off the 53-man roster. Chase Allen and Steven Carlson get cut here. Tonjes is underwhelming as a tight end 3 option. I do think out of the guys after Kmet and Tanyan, he's probably your most proven option, your best blocking option, but I still think the Bears need to add a third tight end. I don't love the depth of the room after Kmet and Tanyan. You don't need a guy to play a bunch of snaps, but you need someone more reliable. A vet would be nice. I'm still keeping an eye on that position as we go throughout camp. Maybe a notable player gets cut at some point from another team, and the Bears are able to add him. Okay, today's show is sponsored by Z-Biotics. Let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I typically don't bounce back well the next day. That is until I found Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. Drink Z-Biotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. You can see how it just comes in this box right here, 6 bottles right there, easy to travel with, very easy to grab and drink before your night of drinking. If you're someone who travels a lot, it can fit into your travel bag, whatever, very, very easily, so you are good to go. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on your screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code chatsports at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription as well so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guaranteed, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. It's zbiotics.com/chatsports, code chatsports to get 15% off. Check the comments and check the description. Okay, let's go to the offensive line now. 9 players total. The starters there on the left side of your screen, Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Cody Whitehair, Nate Davis, Darnell Wright, which I am pretty bullish about this starting group. I think it can be solid. The depth, I got questions. They've got Lucas Patrick, Jatiri Carter, Alex Leatherwood, and flash that real quick, Rolly, who was the last lineman? Larry Borum, who is that final spot. Dieter Eisland, a notable cut there, who's been around for a little while now. I am concerned about the depth on this offensive line, though. I don't know how I feel about the backups. I think Patrick is reliable. He's a leader. He can play center or guard. I think they like Carter as a guard option, but tackle specifically, who's the swing tackle? Leatherwood, Borum? I don't know. I think that's something to watch for as well. Okay, defensive side of the ball. Same deal, defensive line, 9 players. Starters or projected starters, DeMarcus Walker, Travis Gibson at edge, Justin Jones, Andrew Billings. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of rotation on the defensive line. Dominique Robinson, Rasheem Green at edge, Jervon Dexter, Zach Pickens, and Travis Bell. Cronin has making it the 7th-round pick. Notable cut, Terrell Lewis, who had a pretty good spring. We'll see what he's able to do during training camp as well. I, of course, am still looking for the Bears to add an edge. We'll see if they end up doing just that. Will the Bears sign an edge rusher? Will it happen? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I hope so. I'd be okay if multiple sign. Maybe someone has signed it by the time you watch this video. Maybe we spoke it into existence. Okay, let's go to linebacker. 6 making it, but there is a asterisk there. We'll get to that in a second. Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Jack Sanborn, your projected starters. Noah Sewell, Dylan Cole, backups who could rotate in some and play special teams. Cronin had Sterling Weatherford making it, but Weatherford got cut, which I'll be honest, I was surprised about. I didn't think Weatherford would make the 53, but for him to get cut before camp even started was pretty surprising to me. But they've obviously done a lot of roster shuffling at that linebacker position. I think ultimately they just carry those first 5 guys, your 3 starters, Sewell and Cole. I think it's pretty cut and dry. Maybe someone surprises them at camp and they carry a 6th, but I think 5 is perfectly fine. Go to the secondary now, cornerback position. 6 make it per Cronin. Jalen Johnson, Tyrique Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, your projected starters with Johnson and Stevenson on the outside, Gordon at nickel. Kendall Vildor, who's been here for a while, Terrell Smith, the rookie 5th-rounder, Jalen Jones, who was a UDFA last year. That means Josh Blackwell on the outside looking in, and it could come down to Blackwell and Jalen Jones. And that's why I've said at times throughout the offseason, could Kendall Vildor be a surprise cut? Could they opt to keep Blackwell and Jones who are younger players and move on from Vildor, give him a fresh opportunity elsewhere, and try to further develop Blackwell and Jones. I think that's a possibility. Terrell Smith isn't a lock to make the team as a fifth-round rookie, but I think if he performs well enough, he will. Certainly some competition in terms of the backups at the corner spot. Safety now. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I agree with Cronin here. Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker, Elijah Hicks, Kendall Williamson. Got your two starters, Hicks and Williamson, projected to be core special teamers. You're good to go. I don't really have any argument there. I was pushing for DHC to get re-signed at some point, but that ship sailed. So I think it's these four guys, and that's it. And then specialists, Cairo Santos, Trenton Gill, Patrick Scales, also feels cut and dry, but I do wonder if rookie undrafted free agent kicker Andre Schmidt could at least push Cairo Santos in camp, at least make Santos win the job, right? Because Santos missed some extra points in the middle of last season, kind of hit a funk there. Schmidt has a very strong leg. That's appealing to me, especially playing in Chicago where it's windy. You like being able to kick through that wind sometimes. So I'm intrigued to see how he kicks in camp and in the preseason. But in the end, it probably will be Santos, who's been pretty reliable. All right, I hate to do it. It's always a tough day when players get cut. But who's your top surprise cut candidate? Maybe someone that most people don't think will get cut, but you think there's a chance they will. Drop a name down in the comments below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to this episode of Chicago Bears Now. If you want more Bears content, subscribe, turn on notifications. We will continue to keep you guys informed and entertained here on a daily basis. All right. It's going to take a little rally here if we're going to take down Marshall Green, slap him, and do a Kmet bat chug. If not, we'll sign off soon. Here's our Super Chat menu. $5. Will Beers cheers you? Cheers. $10. We'll take a shot of Fireball. $20. Get a sticker on the Justin Fields boot. A couple new additions today. Shout out to William Bomer, Paleo, and Marty K. $50. We'll take down a beer bong. And then if we beat Marshall Green, $350. We'll do the Kmet beer bat. Oh, Jeremy said he cleaned this, and water just flew everywhere. Thanks, Jeremy. Unbelievable. Good thing I left this in here from like a month ago, these paper towels.
I think every studio has them.
Probably a good move with with how we operate here.
Let's check to see what...
A little wipe down here. What's going on with Steelers?
Yeah, let me...
Just take a gander.
Go incognito here, Harry.
But yeah, we're about a third of the way there. 115's good day. If you guys want me to slap Marsh, if you want to take down Giants now, 350 is the baseline today. But if not, that's all good too. Nick H says, did Fields do good in camp today? He also says it's late, but congrats on the kid. Love the show. Appreciate that, Nick. Yeah, Fields had a strong day, according to all reports and accounts. Play of the day was a deep ball to DJ Moore for a touchdown. So there you go. There you go. Any chatter on Steelers?
I'll get there.
What's it looking like? Oh, by the way, John Ross retired. He was with the Chiefs. Sayonara.
Bye, John.
See ya. See ya, see ya, see ya. L for Jeremy. Yeah, that was a half-ass cleanup job. Half-ass cleanup job. Brandon Shepard, Cole Kmet is the next Gronkowski. I don't think he's Gronk. Could he be Gronk light where he's well-rounded, but he's not as good of a blocker, not as good of a receiver? I think stylistically maybe, but Gronk is arguably the greatest tight end of all time. So that's asking a lot. But I do think Kmet is still improving and is one of the best young tight ends in the game. So
we have an update on Steelers.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Not great.
Strong day from the boys?
Strong day.
Good for them.
Strong days. Hold on. I'll put it on screen so you guys can see where they're at, where everyone else is at. 1 second here.
William says Trubisky is named the official starter for the Steelers.
He should be the starter. Maybe he'll win some games.
Oh, man.
All right, so in our Super Chat battle, this is where we stand. This is where Giants stand. And then at the bottom is where Steelers
talk
stand.
At 475. They've out-combined the two shows of Giants and Bears.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Steve says, F the Bumblebees.
I was willing to throw my body on the line today. I did kind of want to try this beer bat, but
It's such a fascinating drinking tool because it feels like it'd be very difficult to actually drink out of it, like chug-wise, because like
it's a little wide.
And you can't go fast, because if you go fast, everything's going to come at you.
Yeah.
It's like feels like a slow and steady.
Have you done one? You haven't done one yet, have you?
No.
We'll see. We can throw the little shot clock on. Do we have that graphic? Or that timer? 2 minutes. See if people are interested. We can answer a few questions in the meantime, and then we'll sign it off if you guys don't want to challenge Giants now for the Super Chat battle. Let's see. F the Bumblebees from Steve. They're 475. They're having a day. No pressure. Just all good fun if you guys want to hang out. Let's see. What is... Oh, we finally got a Hard Knocks preview.
Apparently, I just saw a tweet, Nody, from Shefty that says Aaron Rodgers is taking a pay cut to play.
Why not? Why did he not just do that during the trade then? Kind of seems weird.
I mean, we know Aaron Rodgers fucking sucks.
Oh, go check out the Bears Twitter. The DJ Moore clip has dropped.
It dropped?
Yes.
That's tough.
I'm gonna tweet it out. Let's tweet this bad boy out. I'll say this too: Fields and DJ Moore have elite visor games.
Oh, I mean, I've seen some of those picks, Harry, and they are as tough as it gets. How long did you want to put on the shot clock, Harry?
Go 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If you guys want to make this an interesting battle, we got 250 people watching. 2 minutes on the clock. We'll answer some hashtag Bears questions in the meantime. If you guys super chat in that time, we can extend it. We got to get at least $10 in the time though. It can't be like wait till the last second, do $1, because we're taking up studio space. Other channels or other shows and channels got to get their content done. So Sports Trance, what are we going to do with the center position? I expect Cody Whitehair to start and Lucas Patrick to be the backup at this point. That's my expectation. C-Wags goes. Let's go to C-Wags here, Rolly. With the Bears being in the first position on the waiver wire, do you think the bottom of the roster changes a lot before the end of camp? It's certainly possible. I mean, being in that first slot gives you first crack at anybody that gets cut. So that's an advantageous point to be in. But I do think that's something to monitor as players start to get cut. 1 minute on the clock. Then we're going to sign off here. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Wasim, good move by Wasim, honestly. Says, saving my money for the season.
You know, Wasim, I respect it.
Respect the move.
I can't wait to be doing watch parties and going, Wasim,
Wasim, Wasim, Wasim. Wasim, Wasim. Wasim, Wasim, Wasim.
Nick, that's a good question, but if you want him to get popped on screen, you have to add hashtag Bears to it.
I'll answer it for now. He says, do you think DJ will get 1,200 yards or more? I do think it's possible. I think him and Fields have built a strong connection already. They seem to get along off the field, so I think that chemistry is real. Michael Lewis, what's the most intriguing position battle?
I got mine, Harry.
I'm pretty intrigued by like the running back situation.
Oh, you stole mine. I didn't know if you were going to go with running back.
I don't know if receiver is like a battle, but after Moore and Mooney, it's kind of like, what happens? Like, does Claypool hold down that other starting spot? Does Tyler Scott push for it? Does Velus Jones show something? Like, I think receiver is pretty intriguing. And then also, if you don't beef up the edge position, who emerges? Like, I think DeMarcus Walker is going to be a solid player, but after that, there's real questions. I'm hoping Travis Gibson bounces back.
I think my number one position to watch would be running back, just for me personally, but a close second is this D-line depth chart. Like, if they don't add anyone, how is Rasheem Green going to perform? How is Dominique Robinson? Like, Gibson?
I have a gut feeling, and I probably need to update this. I think Gibson would be the other starter right now. But yeah, I mean, even Travis Gibson, he's got to perform.
No?
Got a $5 from Patrick. The time expired, but we'll flash this up. If someone supers while we're reading this, then we can keep going. Otherwise, we're going to call it a day. He says, okay, in reference to my number, I believe one of the defensive tackles and wide receivers will be Rookie of the Year candidates. Here's my money to say I believe.
He was
the Rookie of the Year guy?
Yeah, the Rookie of the Year question.
First of all, cheers, Patrick. I mean, if Javon Dexter has 10 sacks, yeah, that would be pretty strong. That would surprise me.
I think it's more likely that Tyrique Stevenson wins it than one of the D-line.
I think so, too, just because Stevenson's going to start. I think the other rookies will rotate in, but it may take some time.
It's tough for a corner to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Got to get a bunch of takeaways.
You have to be like Sauce Gardner, where you're just either locking people down.
Did he win it?
Yeah.
But he had did he give up a touchdown the whole season?
No.
I mean, that's.
I mean, the Jets clean sweep last year because, wait, no, they didn't clean sweep. Well, no, I'm pretty sure Garrett Wilson did win offensive
Wilson
Rookie of the
or
Year.
Olave won NFC, right?
I forgot.
Olave was NFC though. I don't even remember.
I didn't know they were in stupid baseball on us and did NFC and AFC. I thought it was just one offensive Rookie of the Year.
Maybe it is. I honestly can't remember. That's kind of funny if the Jets swept it and still went
sure they
7-10. All right, Rolly's going to look this up, then we're going to sign off here. Appreciate
I guess I was wrong.
Did Sauce not win it?
It's not. Thought they clean swept.
Clean swept, they didn't win either?
They would not win either.
Was it Tyrique Woolen? I mean, this should be
No, they're saying Hutchinson.
Really?
9.5 sacks?
Yeah, that's good. I would have given it to Sauce.
All right. So Garrett Wilson won offensive rookie.
Hutchinson and Wilson. They
How
should
did
have.
Sauce not win it? Let's just be honest. Sauce is
He
the
might
top
have been the
three
best
corner
corner
in the game
football.
already.
Yeah. That just goes to show.
I knew Wilson won it. I just assumed Sauce won it. Sealand with $1 super chat.
Well, with Sealand in the building, should we just flash what's happening just before we get out of here?
I'm not going to pressure anyone.
Yeah,
here.
no pressure. We're ready to sign off. It's been a fun show. Bonus live show today. Shout out to Sealand. We were doing a super chat battle, Sealand. We're now at 122. If we beat Giants now, I get to slap Marshall and I take down this Cole Kmet beer bat in honor of him getting a extension. Sealand has entered the building at the last second here. Steelers over 500. Nice.
I'm lost here because this article says Sauce Gardner did win defensive.
It was Hutchinson. I just checked.
I know, but this one said Sauce.
I
thought so too.
Is there AFC and NFC or something?
I think there's two different rookie of the years, and I'm getting put in a blender.
It was Sauce Gardner.
Dude, this NFL.com article says Aiden Hutchinson won it.
Oh!
Sealand! A $200 super chat. Boom! Sealand! Well, we're at 326 now. If we get 25 more bucks, we top Giants now. We fill up the Cole Kmet beer bat, and we get to slap Marshall Green, which he doesn't know about yet.
Yeah, I should probably tell him.
Yeah. A little paper play. He can get me back on a
Get on
show.
that, Chugs.
Sealand. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. Sealand, the legend, the
What
man,
a legend.
the myth.
The legend.
Woo!
So we're at 326 now, Rolly. 270 watching. If 27 people sent in $1, we'd get there.
That is true. Math is mathin'.
Sealand is a legend.
We beat Giants now. We're slapping Marshall Green.
Sealand, just a heads up for everybody. We're going to start some new club this year. Like, I don't know what the threshold will be, and I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but for the 2023
happy.
season for big super chats. Apparently Marshall's not happy. But you're going to be in there because you're one of our big hitters. So there you go. Marshall's apparently not happy. We probably should have asked for permission.
Asked.
What's the phrase? Ask forgiveness, not permission?
Yeah, someone said to slack them. Not it.
I'll slack him.
Oh, Sealand got us close to the margin. And also want to show some love to Keem78 here, Harrison, who sent in a couple dollars. It says, hot take number 5. Bears blow out Packers in both games. Hey, let's hope that Packers get blown out in the week 1 against Chicago in the Windy City.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Awesome way to
fun.
start the season.
And then Nick H send in a $2 super chat, first time super chat, I believe, and it is. So shout out Nick H. Bears over under 10 wins. I'd probably take the under.
I'd probably go under, but I'd probably say it's like 8 or 9.
I think they win 8 or 9.
Yeah. Hopefully 9, because then you got a shot to make the playoffs.
And then Tito with a $10 super chat.
That's a
what
shot.
does Sealand do? Oh, Jeffrey Cooperstein is walking in the
Say
building.
what's up to Sealand.
Sealand.
Sealand sending 200 bones.
Now we're $15 away. Thanks to Tito. Cheers.
But the story of the afternoon on Bears Now, Sealand returns.
Sealand is always in the building. I'm getting ghosted by Marsh.
Oh, no.
He is.
Okay.
How close is he to?
Oh.
Shit.
Oh, that's awkward.
Is he literally starting right now?
Oh.
Okay. Well, we're not at 350 yet. I mean, technically they still have to get there.
It's true. Sign off now.
Nah. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Marshall's in the studio filming, so now we're at 340. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, because Flanker sent in a $5 first-time super
He says F the Packers.
FTP.
We say FGB here, but FTP is acceptable too.
FTP.
First-time super chatter. Shout out Flanker.
Shout out Flanker. Flanker Danker.
$10 away.
I mean, you still get a
Marty K says, make sure Marsh calls you daddy when you slap him. I'm not going to make him do that.
MVP's going Bears 30, Packers 13, week 1.
That'd be awesome.
Offensive explosion. I mean, the one thing the Packers offense might stink this year, but their defense is still pretty solid.
The Bears had a 4-week stretch last year when the offense got rolling. They scored 30 or more 4 weeks in a row. So, and that was with garbage talent. Stradley with the 5.
Let's go.
$5 away. That's a Bears cheers.
We're getting very, very close to doing a beer bat.
Beer bat, and then we just save Marshall for the next live show.
I think we save Marshall.
Are y'all
for
cool with that if we get there, just the next show?
Because he's going to be gone for like 20 minutes at minimum.
Probably
no, it's
more.
probably like
30 or 40.
minutes. Yeah.
Are y'all cool if we do Marsh? There it is, 350.
Because Sealand.
Sealand gets us over the top, which is very fitting. Shout out to Sealand.
Do you want me to go fill up the beer bat, though?
Yeah. Here you go. Rolly's going to fill up the beer bat. The Kmet deal was necessary field content. Like, just to get the good vibes going. I like it on the first day of training camp. I'm a fan of that. No, I'll do actual beer. You know what to do. They were asking me for seltzer or beer. I prefer beer for these chugs. Well, I'm trying to figure out this. Oh! JB Capone! JB! Boom! Just as Rolly walks out of the room. Just as Rolly walks out of the room. Shout out to JB. We're going to take down the beer bat here in a second. Marty K says, I like the late reactions. We see the super chat and wait patiently for the screen. Hey, it's all fun, man. We got to hype you guys up. Paul Anderson with the super chat, too. We'll get Rolly back in here in a second. What a legend, JB Capone. I'm going to get JB a sticker on the Fields boot as well. JB. JB Capone. Shout out to JB. Type JB in the chat. There's JB's sticker right there. JB's sticker on the Justin Fields boot. We're going to get that on screen in a second, JB. What a rally from Bears Now. Another super chat from Bear Down from H-Town. You missed a 100-piece. Did we get a visual on Marshall? It's a lost cause. Well,
Problem is, I'll say this, as I'm bringing in the beer bat to Harrison here,
oh man.
Once it's filled, you have to start drinking because there's nowhere you can put it. You're holding it.
Yeah, I know. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'll talk to Marshall after the show. We'll be live next Tuesday, so we'll have him hop on for a slapped in. Apologies, I didn't know he was going to have a bunch of videos to film, but we will do it. So tune in for that. We're still going to do the beer bat here for 350 plus. I'm going to chug this. Then we're going to flash those other super chats that came in, and then we'll get out of here. So appreciate that. Type chug. This is going to be an interesting
I tell you what,
one.
yeah, type chugs. I'll give shout outs while Harrison chugs it, but this is going to be interesting because this is the first time
I'm going to back
watched.
up a bit. Just
Good call.
Give myself a little splash
Devontae,
zone.
we did pass the Giants. That's why we are doing a beer bat right now.
Here we go. Which was the initial promise. We just kind of doing a little bonus.
We
Someone
got
wanted to
Wyatt.
slap.
Justin says slap Rolly instead. Listen, if you'd be okay getting square by slapping me,
Yeah, how about this? Put up a poll, Marshall or Rolly. How about this? Make the answers Rolly now, Marshall next week. Okay. We'll let the audience vote on it.
Let me do that before you start chugging.
Yeah. We'll let the audience vote for it. Who gets slapped? Who gets slapped? Rolly today, Marsh next week. Who gets slapped?
All right.
Let us know. Go vote while I'm chugging. Type chug in the chat. Get your votes in.
Euchre34. Wyatt says F Marsh. Shane says chug. Jania says chug. Wyatt says chug. Jeff says leave Rolly be. I appreciate that. Patrick says Marshall next week. Marty K says F Marsh. Get those chugs. Sealand says chug. Michael P says chug. Kevin Harris says chug. Donald Lear, Devontae, Bear Down, Heidi, Bob, and it is complete. Oh, a little spillage.
Little spillage. Gets a little foamy in there on the pour, I think.
It got very foamy, yes.
So there might be some tinkering we have to figure out, but it's a fun new contraption.
Add it to the system.
Add it to the rotation. I just felt it was on theme with Kmet's celebration. Baseball
Wow, there's a lot of foam
background.
there at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll say this is we'll run it for a little bit longer, but it seems like Marsh next week is going to win.
Yeah.
which I appreciate you guys not wanting to slap me. But here is JB Capone's $100 super chat.
Boom!
Shout out JB.
JB, bear down FGB. Appreciate that, JB. You a legend. Got you a sticker on there. Paul Anderson says, bear down. Appreciate it, Paul.
And then we got Bear Down from H-Town.
H-Town.
You in Houston?
Just down the highway, 35. Take it south. Bear down, who dat from my new wife and I. Congratulations. Congratulations. Get the bear downs going for our H-Town pal here.
Bear
The
and
newlyweds.
Saint household. Interesting.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Shoonie with the first-time super chat. Shout out to Shoonie. All right, well, I think that's a good way to end the show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Day 1 of camp's in the books. Kmet's extended. Good vibes. Good vibes. Another practice tomorrow. We're going to talk. I'm going to have a Yannick Ngakoue video tomorrow with that report that he's interested in the Bears. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be in the morning. Then we'll do an afternoon video of training camp news and takeaways. So monitor that as well. Shout out to Rolly. Shout out to Marsh. We'll get that figured out next week. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Subscribe. Turn on noties. See you guys next time.